Okay, there we are. So we're officially recording now. How you doing there, RJ?
Hey, how's it going? Happy Election Day 2020 to you. How's it going,
Yeah,
Jack?
it's
Yeah, I
going.
see you got your red shirt on.
I do. I'm hoping to see a lot of red tonight. I'm actually we're going to be doing. I guess we're going to be doing a series of these short videos. We were going to try to do these live, but technology does not like us apparently.
Yeah, maybe in 2024 we can figure it out. But um, yeah, have you been watching the early results at all, or just
Yeah, so I was actually just looking at them. It's amazing. I got home from work about an hour ago, and they already had Indiana declared for Trump, which is usually a good sign. Indiana is not necessarily a bellwether state, but it's good that the numbers are such that they're able to actually declare winners. Because I think that was one of our biggest fears going into tonight was that we weren't going to be able to actually know a winner today. So,
well,
um,
see, that's funny because everything I'm listening to, they're still wondering why Indiana's not called. The map I'm looking at still doesn't have Indiana called, which is
really,
weird. It had Virginia called immediately to
mm,
Biden, which was
right,
which was pretty scary, to be honest with you. But from what I see, it's at the 8:10 hour. It's Biden 85, Trump 55. There's really nothing. I mean, we all knew Virginia was probably going to go
yeah,
Biden. I,
yeah.
I just get concerned when they called Virginia that quick and they still haven't called Indiana. I don't know what you're watching, but I haven't. They called South Carolina pretty early, which is good. I don't know if you remember
Mhm.
2016, it was kind of on the. It went a lot longer in South Carolina, but
Right.
I've been listening to a lot of reports. It looks like Florida's good.
Hmm.
Georgia's up right now. North Carolina. I mean, Indiana's going to go Trump. Why they haven't called it yet? From the numbers I see, he's up 58 to 40. That's an 18
Yeah,
point swing.
right.
Um,
Well, when I got home, I immediately opened up my laptop, and the first thing I saw, because I get my homepage is news updates, and the first thing I saw was an AP projection, and the only state that they had projected was Indiana. So they had Trump 11, Biden 0 at that point.
okay. See, my
But
brother said the same thing that they won Indiana. So, it gets to the point where every election desk has something different. Um, I don't really have cable, so I don't have any of the networks. Um,
mhm,
I actually have uh, a little thing on the screen here. It's from YouTube, and it just shows me the map and it shows me all the numbers and stuff. And there's no commentary, no George Stephanopoulos going crazy or anything like that. So, no, I don't have time right now for the biased media, and even Fox is like Fox is not conservative anymore. I don't care what people think.
no,
They're like,
no,
oh yeah, Fox. Like, yeah, okay, 2014 called. They want their talking point back. Fox is not conservative anymore. It's going the other way. So I don't know. So I'm not watching any of that tonight. I got some
right,
YouTube
right.
guys that I really like that are doing live streams, and I'm keeping up with them, and they dig
Mhm.
into the numbers. So far, I like what I see. I'm a little bit nervous, as every election year is, but uh, like one site called Missouri pretty quickly, but the map I said see doesn't have Missouri on it at all. So
Right.
who
So
knows?
let me go through a few of the numbers I'm looking at now because I'm getting the exit polling results in lifetime. New Hampshire for Biden, that's not exactly a shock. Pennsylvania, they have Biden with a huge lead, but there's only 1% in. And Pennsylvania was one that I felt like was going to be really determined by how many in-person votes they had today. You said they called Virginia for Biden, but what I'm showing right now is Trump with a pretty significant lead in
Yeah,
Virginia.
that's
Um,
what I see. Like the numbers I see, it's 60-39. Now,
right.
yeah,
That's
they
what I'm.
probably haven't called the counties around D.C. yet, the Leesburg area and Arlington and all that stuff. That's probably why they. But I just don't. When they called it so quick, and it's a 21-point lead right now. It's not even. And the same thing for West Virginia. Well, West Virginia caught up now. It's Trump's ahead. We all knew
Yeah,
that was going to happen. Um,
yes. I just saw Virginia 59.7 Trump, 33 point something for Biden, but they still have it called for Biden. And I don't, I mean, I guess they sort of know what they're doing, but,
so which
remember,
site are you listening to? Which
I'm
site do you
I'm on,
know?
I'm on Fox. I'm on
Okay.
Fox right now, just with their live update and
All right.
just watching their crawl. And they were the most in 2016. They were the most accurate for exit polling, uh, but the numbers here, the projected numbers, I just don't. I'm having a hard time following them because they don't make a whole lot of sense to me. For example, Alabama, they have Trump behind 70-30, but they're calling it for Trump. And again, I'm assuming that they're basing that on mail-in votes versus exit polling. So, you
Well, I
know,
think this year's different because of the mail-in vote uh, addition that we're you. I think some states added early, some states haven't added it in yet. So it's a little weird this year to see some of these numbers. And yeah, Pennsylvania, yeah, it's a huge lead. What I see right now in PA is, I mean, it's obviously not going to hold that way. It's 76-23, but they probably put in the Philadelphia area first.
mm-hmm.
Um, so
That was typical.
yeah, I mean, we all knew Pennsylvania. They're not going to call that till midnight, 1 o'clock, hopefully.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
Same thing with they put up Ohio. Ohio was ridiculous, but all they turned in was Columbus, Franklin County. So of course the numbers are going to be a little skewed.
Right.
Cuyahoga County too. I think they put the
Yeah.
numbers in there. So, you know, is this just the way it is? Is this like voter suppression? I don't know. Um, my
I
my
know that
brother said he's not gonna start watching till 10, which is probably smart on his part,
I,
but I don't
I
have the
think
patience for
that is
that.
smart. No, no, I don't either. So, uh, what's it feel like on the ground to you out there? I know here I saw huge amounts of people in line to vote. They were not that this means anything, but there were a lot of people that weren't wearing masks, which generally means to me they're a little more conservative or libertarian, which bodes well. What are you seeing out your way? Because I know North Carolina is one that it's a swing state sort of, and I was really hoping that it would go strong for Trump, and it looks like it's going that way. But
Right.
what's your feeling out there?
Yeah. If I put money on it, which I did, I think Trump's going to win North Carolina and win it probably a half a percentage more than he did last time.
Right.
What on the ground, what I see here in some of these in North Carolina, and I live in Raleigh, so I live in Wake County. And Wake County the county will itself go blue, but to me it seemed like an overwhelmingly amount of Biden signs out. Now I don't know if that's just them getting out the vote. I don't know if that's just them putting out. But even in the neighborhood I live in, it's just Biden signs everywhere, and it's kind of like uh, because you hear other people talking about, well, I don't see a Biden sign anywhere, but to me, I see it all over the place. So it's like, a question I want to ask you. You're a North Carolinian. You
Mm.
born and raised in North Carolina. Now you're in Ohio. How does it make you feel that Ohio is more red than North Carolina now?
It's first off, it makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, it honestly does because um, it's not because of the people born and raised in North Carolina. It's literally a product of people moving into North Carolina from out of state. And we're seeing this in other states. Texas is now considered a swing state because of the influx of people from other states other than Texas.
Right.
North Carolina went through that in the last 20 years. And yeah, here in Ohio, in my neighborhood, we've got like three houses that have Biden signs, and the rest are all Trump signs. Now, I saw what you saw today at the polling places. There were a ton of Biden signs, but it literally looked like they had poll workers that were just planting signs out there to make it look like there was a more of a surge.
Right.
Um, but yeah, North Carolina, everybody that I grew up with, not 100%, but I would say 90 to 95% of the people that I grew up with, that I was raised with, are conservatives. Now, they're not necessarily, politically minded people. They're not necessarily folks that are, like you and I are fairly conservative, but they live their lives in a conservative manner. And there's just a small handful of liberals. But if you look at North Carolina today, like you said, especially around Raleigh, around Cary, around the metropolitan areas, it's completely reversed. It's probably 80-20 liberals to conservatives, or at least that's what they want you to feel like.
Right.
I don't know if those numbers actually work out, but you know,
Well,
I was
you
hoping
think,
this would be a change with the stupidity that your governor's been doing during the coronavirus. I would hope that would open the door for a real strong political change in North Carolina with this election.
yeah, yeah, like I said, I still think it's going to go ahead. I think that don't get me wrong. There's Trump signs everywhere. I
Hmm.
mean, I saw, there's people with their in their trucks with their big flags out. I
Yep.
saw one on the belt line way up in the tree so nobody can touch it. But when I went to Pennsylvania and I was at my parents, like I felt like I was in more Trump country than I was down here. And when we were growing up, inside the belt line, yeah, that's going to be more liberal. That's going to be more people that think they're better than everybody because they live inside the belt line. And then Cary and Fuquay and all these outskirts were more conservative.
Hmm.
And it's not like that anymore. Cary's become very liberal, even in the houses. It's not just the polling places; the houses where I go around. It's Biden signs everywhere, and it's in the
Right.
nicer neighborhoods too. And like I guess you don't like your money, you know. Yeah, I guess you like 70% taxes, but with your
You know,
nice, you're not gonna afford that house anymore. But you'll have your candidate.
yeah, exactly.
And just to
And
update, a little quick update.
yep.
It looks like Indiana on my map has finally went to Trump. So that's the only change I see. So right on mine, I see Biden 85, Trump 66, with many states. And now I see Texas went is now ahead, is gone red. So my map shows whoever won is solid color,
Hmm.
blue or red,
Right.
and then the
Right.
ones that are still not called, it either shades the color which they're favored by. And they
Hmm.
haven't even called, I guess New York isn't closed yet, but
No.
Ohio is skewed right now. I wouldn't even, it's catching up, but it's skewed. Now Texas went back to blue. Kansas is now blue, just in case you want to know. But um, let me try to find Kansas numbers here. Um, Okay, yeah, 55% to 44. So, Topekas have come in, and Wichita's,
Right.
your college towns probably
Right.
have come
Right.
in. And that's the thing, you I don't know if Kansas is closed yet, but see, usually when they're closed, places like Kansas and Indiana, it usually goes pretty quick.
Hmm.
And it bothers me that it hasn't. Now Tennessee went quick, Mississippi went quick, Alabama went quick, Kentucky went quick, West Virginia went quick,
Hmm.
and same thing on Democrats. So we all knew Vermont was going Biden. Like
Yeah.
here's your 3 points. Go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, um,
Yeah. Like Maine, they have Maine called for Biden. What I'm looking at, and Biden's got 18% of the vote, but they have it called for him because they figure Biden's going to win Maine.
well,
You know.
that's Maine at large. So
Mhm.
they already called, not the Maine one or two. Um, but Maine at large is the Portland area, the areas on the coast, which
Right.
normally we'll go now. Now you go to Upper Maine on east, excuse me, west of 95. It's going to be more conservative. So, but they're yeah, like you said, they're calling it on my map. They haven't called it at all, but on other maps they have. So, yeah, it's still a little early, but
Now, now, if you will remember, in 2016, they called a lot of states for Hillary early on, and then they had to change it. That's part of what created the panic on the left was not so much the fact that their candidate didn't win. It was that they thought it was in the bag. They had
right.
already started, patting themselves on the back, and then all of a sudden, actual results started coming in, and they didn't match what they had projected. So take that, take that as you will.
Right. And I remember 2004, they were actually calling John Kerry Mr. President from
Mhm.
the, or early on when the exit polls came out. And then all of a
Right.
sudden, when the real votes came in, they're like, oh crap, here it comes. So, here's the thing. Like, here's my little rant for the day. There's going to be probably several rants. Well, if Trump wins, okay, which I think he will, and the polls are absolutely 100% wrong. It's okay if you're well, it's not okay. If you're a Democrat, if you're a liberal and you want to vote that way, that's fine. But if you're still at this point going to continue to listen to these polls, if you're still at this point going to listen to Nate Silver and 538 and all these the LTEs on damn YouTube telling you it's going to be a Biden landslide, if you're still listening to that, you could go back to time after time. I put a post on about Michael Dukakis. He was 17 points ahead and he got blown out.
Yep.
Stop listening to the polls. Just stop.
Yep.
Don't even. Why are they even in existence to begin with? They're wrong. They're wrong all the time. Ron DeSantis was on election day 2 years ago. They said they fixed it. Oh, we were wrong in 2016. We made some mistakes. It's fixed now. Ron DeSantis on election day was down 7 points in Florida. Guess what? Ron DeSantis is now governor of Florida. You were
Exactly.
still wrong. So if
Exactly.
they're going to be that far off, I saw a poll prediction today where it said Biden was going to have 500 or not 500, 360 electoral votes.
Yeah.
He was going to win Florida, North Carolina, all of them, Arizona, Nevada. He was going to win them all, and it was all based on polls. Stop it. At what point are these people gonna stop listening to, or the polls are gonna have to get it right at some point?
Yeah, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of people. The word on the street is that a lot of people are lying to pollsters, literally. And there's some element of I'm just going to mess with the system because I don't like pollsters. There's some element of this is a joke, but at some point they've got to realize their numbers don't match reality. And I'm hoping I hoped 4 years ago that was the turning point. I hope 2 years ago that was the turning point. I'm hoping this year's the turning point. The problem is that they keep putting the same polling groups out there, asking the same kind of leading questions to the same group of people. If you poll 1,000 people and you have 65% of those people are Democrats, you're going to come up with a non-realistic number. I'm sorry, it's just not. That's not reality. Uh, and then if you take into account the 20 to 30% of Republicans that are just going to mess with you on that,
Right,
you know,
right,
that's why the only polls that I actually have trusted this whole time, and they're the ones that are looking like they're fairly accurate right now, are the internal polling. Because internally, if you're the DNC or you're the RNC and you're polling a group of people, you have no political advantage, you don't have any messaging advantage, anything to you not accurately polling and you not just asking straightforward, okay, who are you leaning towards voting for in the election? Not trying to trick them, not trying to sway them, not trying to argue with them, just straight up and down, who are you voting for? And those numbers, if you look at least the RNC's numbers that I've seen, have shown Trump the entire time with not a commanding lead, but with a lead the whole time. And that's what the numbers I've seen. That's what it's bearing out. Even though the electoral college numbers aren't bearing it out right now, but I just at some point they've got to realize this. We all know the political game. Even the people who aren't involved in politics, they know what they're trying to do, and they're sick of it. They're not going to play the game with them.
right, right. And you start wondering if this poll, their game they're playing about, oh, Biden's or Hillary's up, or Wisconsin was 17 points the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Are they hurting themselves or helping themselves? At some point they're like, oh, I guarantee you a lot of that Hillary stuff in 2016, it was most of the people going, well, she's going to win, why go vote?
Right.
Um, we talked about that before as a double-edged sword. So, I mean, I look at what I'm looking at here. North Carolina's looking pretty good at the moment. I mean, it's 57-42, and Florida's got to be called at this point. I mean, there's 10.5 million votes already in.
Yeah,
Now, I don't
and
have a percentage. It's already 3 points.
it's 50, yes, 50.7 to 48.8. So basically 3 points.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
that
51,
is
48.
that's a lot of ground for Biden to try to recover in a state that the late vote tends to be more conservative.
Yeah, because
The
it's the
late vote,
Panhandle. Because the Panhandle is a different time zone, so they close
exactly.
differently, anyways. And from what the numbers I've been seeing from like Biden is way, way, way underperforming in like counties like Miami-Dade and down in Fort Lauderdale.
Mhm.
This Cuban vote that's coming in is going heavy Trump right now. I mean,
Yeah,
Biden's going to still win the county, but the absolute numbers Trump's getting right now from that area that is so voted so Democrat over the last several cycles. Um, he's gained a lot there, and that's good to see. Like they should call Florida immediately. It's 3 points, and that's a lot in Florida, especially with almost 10.5 million votes already in.
right.
Ohio is 56-43. What's going on in Ohio? That's
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm expecting that number to change
Yeah,
pretty
it's
quickly
going to
because
change. I'm just surprised it's such a. I mean, nobody's really even talked about Ohio.
no.
I guess. All right, we got another update here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. New state called Arkansas with a 6 points. Nate Silver said Arkansas is in play for the Democrats. Not quite.
Not
Um,
so much.
not so much. You know Nate Silver, right? From
Yeah.
the gospel of polling.
Yes.
I mean, I think he didn't say that recently. I think he said like a couple months ago, just like, Arkansas, like blah blah blah. Like, come on, dude. Arkansas is not in play. So,
Arkansas is an odd state because they are a state that will often vote for a Democrat for governor, but they generally go Republican in the presidential races. And even when Clinton ran, that was the last time I remember Arkansas. I don't know, maybe Obama took Arkansas, but I do remember the big news was Clinton being from Arkansas, meant that they were going to finally carry that state.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Arkansas is strong red, just like, Missouri, well, not actually Missouri, but Kansas, Oklahoma,
Mhm.
Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. Well, Tennessee went for Gore in 2000, but that was because Gore is from Tennessee.
Right, exactly.
But
I don't I
Arkansas
throw out
is red goes. So.
yeah I throw out any results from a candidate's home state
Well,
plus
yeah,
or
I
minus.
mean, Mondale won Minnesota by
Right.
10,000 votes against Reagan. If it was any other person, Reagan would have won every state but D.C.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I
you
mean, the,
know,
the old joke is that, Mondale only got 3 electoral votes. That's only 3 more than I got, and I didn't run.
you were just as close. So this Kansas thing's kind of bothering me. Kansas is again, I guess all the votes are. Kansas was always one of those states that calls immediately, but
Hmm.
I don't know what's going on out there.
I'm actually not seeing Kansas. It's skipping right over Kansas for whatever reason. My crawl
Right
goes.
now it's 55-44 blue,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Texas is now 51-48 blue. Now they're
Yeah.
they're they're only at 6 million votes at the moment. So
They
there's still
only
6 million
both.
votes to come in. Yeah, they're still
Yeah.
halfway through. I wish they had the percentage because they got 38 electoral. What's Florida? 29. So yeah, you're going to probably if Florida gets 10 million, 10.5 million votes, Texas is going to get 12 or 13, I would think, or
Yeah.
more than that,
Yeah.
15 probably. But yeah, that's still early to call.
The thing is this you could pretty much throw out history with this specific election because the numbers are going to be so much larger than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
usually that number, usually the mindset is, large turnout is good for Democrats, except when it's rage voting, which is what we're getting with the coronavirus stuff. People are just sick of it, and people in Democrat strongholds are sick of it,
Right.
and they're coming out to vote in large numbers, almost as a protest to, okay, you're going to try to shut us down. No, that ain't working this time.
Right.
So
No, no, I agree. North Carolina kind of is caught up to Joe now. It's 54-45 Biden. Um, so like you don't know what counties just came in. It looks like some big county might be Mecklenburg
yeah,
or
so
Ashe
it's probably
County. Yeah, it could be Mecklenburg or Ashe or maybe Wake came in or something like that.
mhm.
Um, New Hanover down in Wilmington, but
Here's the telling thing though is in North Carolina, just like in Ohio, because Ohio's numbers are about the same. They're not calling it for Biden.
right,
They
they know.
know that these numbers aren't realistic. I mean,
Right.
they are they are what they are, but they know that that's not the final story, or at least that's smart.
Right. Well, yeah, because you have to know where they come from. I mean, I was watching somebody else, and when Ohio first came in, and they're like, "Oh my God, Trump's getting obliterated in Ohio." Oh my
Mm.
God, and I'm like, so I guess got to turn some of this stuff off because it's just people are just dumb. It's like, yeah, one county came in. It's called Columbus. It's called
Yeah,
Ohio State. Like,
yeah.
relax. Um, so yeah, I don't know, not much feeling, not much going on. Everything's kind of normal to me. What do you think
Mhm.
so
I
far?
I think I think it's going pretty much exactly the way I had envisioned it going. I thought it was going to be a real slow rollout of numbers. I thought we were going to see a lot of projections and then removal of projections and then changing, and you're going to see that all night.
Right.
Uh, so it's looking exactly like I thought it was going to look, and that's a good thing because at least for us, because I saw this as I told you earlier today, I see this as a Trump route. I don't think it's going to be Reagan-esque. I don't think it's going to be
Well,
winning,
obviously not. Well,
right.
they called 1984 at 8:30, so it's already past 8:30. They
But
called that like, all right, let's get out of here. Boom.
yeah, but I do see it as um, I would not be shocked if we see the kind of numbers when you had Obama Romney, where Romney seemed like he could put up a little bit of a fight, but the numbers just didn't work out for him. You
Right.
know, so I think that's the kind of night we're going to end up seeing. I think we're going to see Trump around somewhere between 330 and 350, and that's going to be the end of the story. I think that if it's anything less than 300, we're in for a long, long, long winter because they're going to fight this tooth and nail in courts over and over and over again, and it's going to
No,
be
I agree.
Florida with Bush Gore times 15, 20, because it's going to be at least a dozen states that they're going to do that in.
Right. And yeah, and Trump's got to get yeah, if Trump gets every, the same states, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, like there's no, the same states, and then he picks off, like, from what I hear, like Nevada is actually coming in strong for Trump right now. He picks off one of those, or maybe I really would love, God knows, I would love to see Minnesota.
Yeah.
What year were you born? 72?
Yep.
So yeah. So in your lifetime, barely. I
Barely.
mean, yeah, Nixon got it in 72, but
Mhm.
I've never seen Minnesota red ever.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would
And
love to see that. Love to see it.
and I've got a lot of friends in Minnesota. Minnesota is is full of conservative people. They really, but the problem is they're so dispersed throughout the countryside in Minnesota, except for a couple of large cities, and those large cities are Democrat strongholds,
Right.
fortunately.
Yeah.
So
The
but
Minneapolis and the Duluth and all that stuff. And
yeah,
um,
I'd say St. Paul, but St. Paul is actually fairly conservative compared to the other cities in Minnesota.
right.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'd love to see Minnesota just for the satisfaction of some friends of mine. I'd love to see Minnesota go red at least once.
It would be nice. It would be nice. So that's the 8 o'clock update. It's now
Yep.
8:40. So you want to come back at like 9:10?
Yeah, that'd be good. 9:10. That gives me a chance to shove some food into my belly
Okay.
and fret over some numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go watch some more of this stuff. So it's
Awesome,
it's
buddy.
it's it's Super Bowl only on Tuesday.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we'll see you at 9:10. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and check back in with us. Uh, of course, it's not going to be in live time, but it'll be as close to live time as we can get.
Yep. See you
Thanks,
soon.
guys. See
Yep.
you. Bye.